Senator Canavan. Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Thank you for appearing. We missed you last time because I couldn't get in the schedule. So I just want to get a quick update on many things, as many as possible. Part of the Reserve Bank's process is to review inflation data and unemployment data. Do you use data from the ABS? And if so, do you use that data exclusively, or do you have other sources for unemployment and inflation data?
So we use ABS data obviously for inflation and unemployment. We use a variety of other sources of information though, because we don't just focus on the unemployment rate itself. We focus on a variety of measures that the ABS put out. We also focus on things like vacancies, advertisements. There's information we get from our business liaison program where we talk to businesses about what they're doing with their labour forces. Are they demanding more labour or not? So we use the ABS data, but we have a wealth of other information that we look at as well.
Thank you. Business-to-business payment defaults and business bankruptcies to the third quarter of 2024 are at a record. I'm sure you know that. Are you watching these metrics, and would these record figures act to reduce the appetite in the Reserve Bank for another interest rate rise?
So we do watch the business insolvencies data. My understanding is that they haven't actually returned to the trend that they were prior to the pandemic. So in the pandemic, with low interest rates and government assistance, insolvencies were actually at a record low. They have popped up, but they haven't popped up to where the trend was going prior to the pandemic. So I think that's important perspective to put it in. We do look at it, and we look at it from a couple of perspectives. We look at it from the perspective of how monetary policy is impacting businesses, but we also look at it from the perspective of financial stability and the potential impact on banks and banks' arrears and the impact on banks' balance sheets.
Thank you. Suicide Prevention Australia Community Tracker, also to third quarter 2024, shows a huge rise in calls to help services, suicidal behaviour and clinical presentations. This is an independent and accurate barometer of how everyday Australians are doing. Are you aware of that tracker?
Yes, I am, and in fact I have regular meetings with various organisations, for example Beyond Blue. They talk to us a lot about these sort of data. We also talk to ACOS regularly. We talk to other charities in our business liaison program, and we hear a lot about the fact that charities are seeing people come in who they haven't seen before. So this is obviously an indication that there's stress. So yes, we do keep in touch with that stuff.
Thank you. Can you update me on the state of the central bank digital currency, please? Last word we had, I think, was when Mr DeBell was Deputy Governor. I understand you're developing a standard, not an actual currency itself. Is that correct?
We're not. So we've done a couple of things. We ran a pilot program with a real claim on the central bank last year.
Is that what's known as a sandbox?
It was sort of like a sandbox, if you like, and we had a number of different use cases. Various businesses came in with their use cases to use the central bank digital currency. From that information, what we took away was that probably the most fruitful piece of research we could continue with was the use of a central bank digital currency in a wholesale sense, in which I mean there's a lot of discussion about putting assets on the ledger, so having a distributed ledger of financial assets, for example, and then could you have a central bank digital currency which was used to make settlements of those financial instruments, or they might be physical instruments, they might be physical assets. So that's the most fruitful work, and that's where we're going at the moment. We're trying to stand up a project, we're in the process of standing up a project which looks at how could a central bank currency be used in atomic settlement of assets. That's where we're going at the moment. So you're not
developing a standard?
No, it's basically we're looking at the business, what the business case might look for it. We're not so interested in the technology. We're not so interested in standards. What we're interested in is there a business case for this?
So would a standard? So would that allow other parties then, including each of the banks, to develop their own cryptocurrency?
So the banks themselves can develop what some people call stable coins, and some banks have developed stable coins. Central bank digital currency, if it's developed, would be something that everyone could potentially use. Not literally every Australian, because if we're focusing on business, then it might be that some businesses can use it, but it's not central. Individual banks can, in theory at the moment, and some of them have experimented with stable coins, which are effectively cryptocurrencies.
Last question, Senator Roberts.
So, excuse me, this would not exclude existing cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin?
No, the central bank digital currencies would not have a relationship with Bitcoin, no.
But it wouldn't exclude Bitcoin?
What do you mean by exclude Bitcoin?
Sideline them, remove them?
No, Bitcoin would continue to exist, but central bank digital currencies offer a different business proposition than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has particular uses. Central bank digital currencies would not be encroaching on that space, I suspect.
Thank you.